Hey everybody, it's Mel, and I'm here on the Twitch or the YouTube or wherever you're watching this. I don't know, for Toon Boom, and today we have a very cool subject that we're going to talk about, and it is prepping a portfolio slash interview slash like maybe getting your first job or getting another job because you get one, you still need another one after. We're going to talk about a bunch of different subjects, but more importantly, we're going to talk about what you guys want to talk. So if you guys have any questions about the subjects of like getting a job, making a portfolio, me and Mookie will be more than happy to answer. However, it's like a genie asking wishes, right? There's rules. Please keep it very respectful. We will not give any advice on how to get into a specific like studio or like job or like show. Like, it's not about that. It's more like general advice, and we will try to answer as best we can. And I will be here to monitor the questions in the chat. We might or might not be able to answer everything, so please be patient. And sometimes the answer will come in a written format. It's not always going to be said. Without wasting any more time on little rules and stuff, let's actually get started. So, hi, my name is Mel. I work at Toon Boom. I also ever so happens to have a YouTube channel where I share little tips and tricks every week or so. And I also worked on different productions such as Wakfu, Glitch Tex, Max and Maestro, a bunch of very fun show. Oh yeah, Big Hero 6 too, that was very cool. And I've been at Toon Boom for a few years, and I like to use these softwares and to teach them to people. And today we have a very cool guest here to help us out on this very cool subject, and it is my cool friend Mookie. So would you mind introducing yourself to us for a bit? You know who you are, how you got there, some cool shows you worked on, your favorite animal.
Favorite animal's a cat, definitely.
That's a good choice.
Yeah. Thanks Z. So sorry, I know you as Z, but like
it's okay.
Call you Mel if you prefer.
You can call me Z. It's fine. It's just a reflex. I have multiple identities.
Same here. I'm Mookie. I got my start in animation in 2015. I'm currently working at Flying Bark. And I'm based in the Philippines. I got my start on a few as an outsourced animator on a few Disney projects. The first one I worked on was a little comedy show called The 7D. And then after that, I worked on a few films, a Mexican and a German film, I think. And then I got my big break as an outsourced animator on Big Hero 6. Completely unrelated. Yeah, completely unrelated, surprisingly, to what Z was doing at the time.
but this just goes to show how small the industry is. Like, people just know everyone.
Yeah. Like, surprising enough that we worked on the same project at completely different studios, completely different times. But yeah, And then after that, I went full freelance, and then I officially met Z on Lackadaisy.
Yeah, we also worked
Uh,
on Like a Daisy. I forgot to mention it.
yeah,
Ah!
we did.
And it's the best thing I've worked on, so
It is. It's one of the best things I worked on too. And then yeah, around the same time, I was also working on a few shorts for Pencilmation on YouTube. And I also started working on a little game called Breeze in the Clouds.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm currently the animator on Breeze in the Clouds.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, yeah, I know. I think I've seen some things around it. That's really cool. You
Yeah.
have to show me later.
Yeah, it's that one game with the corgi
Okay, yeah,
fighting
okay,
with
I've seen it.
raccoons and stuff. Yeah, yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh, thank you. I thought it's a really fun game to work on too. Very, very new to me at the time because I'm mainly in TV animation. And then I decided like during the pandemic to try and branch out. Partly because of my partner at the time. She kept bugging me to like just keep trying.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm very thankful to her for pushing me to do that because like half of the things that I do today I probably wouldn't be able to do without having tried anything. So yeah, but yeah, that's it for me.
But that's very interesting because in all these like little introductions we did, there's a bunch of very important point, and it's all points that we will at least try to cover in the stream, such as for example, yeah, you can work in TV, but you might want to give gaming a try. It's a different thing, but it's a fun thing too.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the artist's skill are so interchangeable in different media. So if you're like minimally um up to learn a few things, like you might go places. It's really cool. It's yeah, interesting.
I would say that that's really an important skill. So that like just wanting to learn
Mm-hmm.
to do more things because it's like I remember back in when we started working on Lackadaisy, we had to work with Blender, and that was a very foreign
I'm a culprit
software.
though because I didn't learn
Yeah.
it.
So, well,
I'm a
but
culprit.
it's your fault. But like, yeah, a lot of us had to learn Blender because like that was the 3D software of choice for Lackadaisy,
Mm-hmm.
and like a lot of us did not understand Blender, let alone 3D. But like, if we weren't willing to like try it out, we probably wouldn't have done half as good job on it.
Yeah, but that's also an important point because you can be generalist, and that is amazing because it leads to a lot of opportunities. And when I started in the industry, I was the generalistest of the generalists. I was working Flash, 3ds Max, Maya, uh Harmony, like all these softwares. I was like, just give me a job. I'll do anything. But by doing this, instead of being like, I don't want to learn something new, like by doing this, it's very humbling because you learn a heck ton about all these things, right?
Yeah, yeah,
um but also
and
when you are a bit more years sometimes into an industry, like um with how much I know about Harmony at the moment and Storyboard Pro and all like the TV softwares, um it's like a video game. You have like a character chart, like with a skill charts. Let's say you have like 10 points. If you max out a category, probably the other ones are not going to be maxed out. So yes, guys, learn everything, but being a generalist is amazing, but you can difficultly be an expert at everything. So don't kill yourself with this either, right? You have to make priorities sometimes. um
yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
learning all these things is so important. Yeah, because the more software you know, the better you'll be at said software, because then you can take some things you learned from another one and apply it to the other one, and
Mhm.
very humbling and useful.
A lot of software are actually pretty similar to in Logic.
Oh yeah.
And it's like another thing that's really good with learning a lot of things is like you understand what's the best tool for the job because you now know how everything works. Because it's like yeah, learning how to use Photoshop and then moving on to Clip Studio Paint. is great because the controls and like what the software can do is kind of similar. But like at the end of the day, there are nuances and little differences between the software that like only Clip Studio Paint can do this, or
Mm-hmm.
only Photoshop can do this, right? And if you don't play around with different software, you will never figure that out.
That is completely true. And yeah, so um wait, I was about to say something and my brain just derped. Ah, yeah, sorry, we were talking about like being versatile and like aiming for being like generalist, at least when you start. After that, do whatever you want. But um the way I planned this stream for you guys listening is, yes, we want to answer questions, but if we don't have any questions and you guys are just here to have a good time and have like Mookie and Mel slash Z ASMR in your ears, that's also fine. We have a plan. So the plan is to go with like getting your first job, because even if you're in school or if you're not in school, like getting the first job is always something. And then like we're going to talk about resumes and portfolios. And eventually, we're also going to talk about the interview process, like when you actually get it. What do you do? So that's our plan. Unless we get any cool questions from you guys, which I'm going to go check out right now just in case. No questions for now. Well, I have a question for you guys, though. Um, I want to know if you write in the chat where you are at the moment in your journey. Are you a student? Are you learning on your own? Are you employed in the industry? Or are you just a hobbyist having a good time listening to us? So, yeah, let us know in the chat. It's going to give us a little overview of who we are with today. And yeah, so before we get into this, I have a question, Mookie.
Hmm.
How and when and where did you learn animation?
Hmm.
What
So
is your
it all,
backstory?
yeah. It all began when I was like 9 years old. I took this flipbook animation. I don't know if you guys know what the flipbook is, but like I took this flipbook animation class at a local hardware. It's weird. It's a
That
hardware
is
store
super
that,
cool.
yeah. And then like we were working with these small pieces of paper, and then after that I was like, oh yeah, maybe I want to animate. And then my mom, for some reason, remembered that, and then she's like 20 years later, remember when you were nine? Sorry, like 12 years later, and then remember when you were nine and you said you wanted to animate? And then I'm like, but mom, I was 9 years old. And then she basically forced me into doing animations, and
That
then
is amazing.
that's how I ended up here. I took a few workshops and trainings, and then yeah, I ended up sticking to animation ever since. So it's one of those um, weird instances where where your mom is actually like supportive of your art career. I was about to take it's funny because I was about to take a bachelor's degree in math. And then when she saw that that
Ew.
was my first choice, yeah, that was what she said too. It's like,
Gross.
but I like math. And I think math also played a part. My interest in math played a part in my interest in animation too. Because when I found out that like a lot about animation is like math and stuff.
I mean,
Right?
I'm an animator, but I love like science, everything that has to do with like the outside nature and animals and stuff. So like I wanted to be a vet, but I'm an animator, so I feel you.
Yeah,
We are allowed to have multiple interests in life.
we're those weird people who are artists but always wanted to be scientists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well. Well, that's cool.
Art is fun though. Art is fun. So I'm not. I don't regret it honestly.
And when it comes to me, I went to when I was a kid, I was like, I think my first animations were actually stop motion.
Oh my god. Oh,
Aside
that's so
from
cool.
like trying on paper to just like draw and kind of flip two images together and be like, "Mom, it moves." Right.
That's so cool though. How did you start out with your stop motion?
Yeah, like I didn't start with flip books because I didn't know how they would work. Like I tried to make animation by having paper stapled together, like with like well,
Yeah,
not
that's how I
staple with
started too.
yeah, with like a I don't know how they call the metal thing that holds paper together. Like
Paper clips.
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
That's how I started too. Like we didn't have pre-made flip books,
Or
so we
like
had to
yeah,
use
we
our
just
own. Yeah.
register them with like L rulers and be sure okay if it's always in
Yeah.
the corner, we were just trying. Like computers were not a thing when I was
Yeah.
9,
Yeah,
8.
because like we didn't really have pen tablets
No,
back
I got
then.
mine when I was what, 14. I don't remember.
Yeah, same. Because they were
Um,
expensive back then. They were
Yo, I
very
got a
expensive.
bamboo fun, and it was like the shit. Like my parents were like, "This is the most precious thing we're gonna give you." Well, when I thank you,
Oh,
mother and father.
so I think that was like kind of my origin story too. Like I
I mean,
was
we're
I
roughly
think
the same age, so probably.
yeah I think I was around 13 too, but like it was more pressure for me because they skipped the bamboo and went straight for an impulse.
What?
Yeah,
What?
they
I don't
went
even.
straight
I,
for
don't,
an
I
impulse.
didn't even know they existed. The intros back then. It was like I have a
Oh,
bamboo. It shines and I
yeah.
like it.
No, they went straight for an Intel's 4 because that was the recommendation of the computer shop guys. So
Intros 4.
yeah, so
Wait, we're
I
not the
I
same
ended,
age. They did not exist when I got my tablet. But
okay,
um yeah, so
we're roughly
like
the
but
same
let
age.
it be a lesson for you guys in the comment. Like people are like, I can't animate because I cannot have the tablet and the computer. I'm like, no, you can animate. Like
Yeah,
you can
definitely.
animate. You don't need a computer to animate. um but when I started was a we received a digital camera. That thing was never heard of. Like, oh my god, I take a picture and I see it. Like I can what? Like my brain just exploded. And then me and my brother noticed that if we took our Lego set and we like took a picture and then another one, and we flipped them really fast with like the right arrow, we could see the animation go. It was the shit. It was
But a lot of
we.
people do get their start with animating Lego. It's so funny.
It's so fun, man. I want to do it again. I found my old Legos. I'm gonna do that.
That's
I'm gonna
that
import
sounds
my image sequences
fun.
in Harmony, and I'm gonna draw over that thing because I used to do it
Uh,
in Paint. It's not fun.
oh man, yeah, I
Paint and
remember
Windows
those
Video
days.
Maker, man. Let's go.
Yeah, like back then, like finding Krita didn't exist back then. So it's like if you wanted to paint, you had to either buy Photoshop
You had
or just
Paint,
struggle with MS Paint. Yeah,
but yeah, I just thought it was important so people kind of know where we come from and yeah, like it's and anyone can animate. Just like you can animate with so many
yeah.
different things. So just do it and
There's so many different types of animation too. It's like it's not just the stuff that you see Disney do.
exactly. And but to talk more about like the first job, because me and Mookie could give advice of how we found our own first job, but getting a first job, if you ask someone for specific advice, like how did you get your first job, this I think can be very misleading because everybody has a different path and different like personality and even different whereabouts. Finding a job in Montreal, it's not like finding a job in California, it's not like finding a job in the Philippines, and it's not like finding a job in France. Like everything can be different to some extent. But today what we're going to focus on is like universal tips and tricks that are going to mostly work for lots of places. Eh. And as I said, we are happy to have a discussion with you guys in the chat. So if you have any comments or questions or stuff, let us know. I'm gonna go check out if we have anything. Um, oh, we have a very interesting one, which I'm gonna get to in a moment. Okay, okay, okay.
Sweet.
So, yeah, okay. So for the first job, I think, and I think we talked about it before, but like one good advice is be easy to find. Um, like I don't think like people that are looking for animators are gonna actively like try to find you because they don't know who you are. Nobody knows you are an
Mhm.
animator if you're still in school or like if you're in a hobby or something. Because when you have your first job, then getting other jobs gets a bit easier because you have a circle of people that might be like, my studio's looking for someone. Do you want to work with me again and stuff? But if you don't have that connection and that support, like what do you do? So one good advice I got some years ago was be easy to find, and that include having a good online presence. Like get a LinkedIn, get a online portfolio, and for very important, at least to me, I don't know if Mickey you agree, but like have a consistent name. Like if you have a name on Instagram and you sign your drawing a different name and then your email is a different thing, sometimes it can be confusing for hire people that want to hire you. But that's my
Mhm.
little thing. Like if you're trying to be found and have a name in the industry and a job, try to have something that's consistent in your like um online presence, like for your website or your cards or Linktree or something. But yeah.
Oh, I totally agree. I think there is because like I was one of those people who always tried to be internet famous back then. Back when Tumblr was a thing.
Oh,
So like I
well, you're
kept
famous for
changing
me.
names.
You're the famous
Oh, thank
Mookie.
you. Oh, thank you. But like back then, I kept changing names, and it didn't really hurt as much back then because like I was still discovering myself.
Mm-hmm.
But like once I started actually working, that was when I felt like, okay, I need to stick to at least one name. Like I can have like multiple accounts and usernames, that's fine. But like at the very least, when I introduce myself, I always introduce myself as Mookie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I guess that's my take on it. Like always make sure that like people in the industry you want to work in at least know who you are when they talk about you. Like especially if there are like 10 different people with the same name as you, that's gonna be difficult.
I mean, but
Um,
but that's an important part, like because we are in an age where, like, when I started back then, like, street names were not that much of a thing. Because I don't think when I was in animation school, like, Instagram was starting, and like, I don't even think
mhm.
Twitter was a thing. Like, when did X get
it,
invented? I don't even remember.
it was like 2009, I think.
Okay, well, it was there, but like I've always been a
Yeah.
dinosaur with technology, so sue me. Like me and any kind of social media, I'm like, Discord is my social media. But um, yeah, like having a consistent thing there is important, and the name, like, oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. Today you have like, yes, you usually have a name, but online you have the opportunity to give yourself a name.
Yeah.
And my advice for this is, think about it. Not too much. Like, don't stress over it, but give it a minimal amount of thought. Like,
Yes.
if your email is something obscene, just know you will be providing this email to people probably offering you a job.
Yeah.
So you know.
Exactly.
Like, I cannot give example, but like, you know what I mean. So like,
Yeah.
but have it
Or
safe.
I have a friend. I have this friend who got internet famous, and they did not like the name that they picked for themselves, but like now they're regretting it because every time they get tagged, like people followed them all around the internet and figured out who they were even after changing their name.
Like if
Um,
your name is like my feet smells, like you're gonna be stuck with this.
oh no,
Like it's funny, right? But then you're gonna be stuck with it forever.
oh my god, it wasn't anything that bad, but like they weren't happy with their name. But like now when you look at image boards like no, not 4chan, but like
No, you don't want to
say
go there.
Gelboru or something, they keep tagging them with their old name, and then I keep teasing them because they hate that name so much.
Yeah. So
Like
yeah,
it's hard
like
to
pick a name and stick to it eventually. But
yeah, because it's that hard to escape once you pick a name.
and
It's very hard to.
this might seem like a stupid advice, but if you're gonna take an artist name, I know people don't want to hear that, but that's my advice. Google it first and see what comes out.
Oh
Because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
sometimes you might not know, but maybe the name you're gonna pick It's something kind of obscene in another language. I don't know, or maybe
Oh
sometimes
yeah,
there's already an artist name like that, and not that you are not allowed to steal someone's name, but like you're
it
trying. Like
causes a
the
lot of
goal with this is trying
confusion.
to be easy to find. If people
Yeah,
cannot find you, then
it makes it harder too if you have someone with too similar of a name, because it also like makes it confusing when you introduce yourself. Like someone might actually follow that person, and then they might think that you're that person.
yeah.
And that's such a weird reason to get canceled, because they might think that you're impersonating that guy. Right?
Exactly. Like if you're making a Neopet account, okay, like put a number at the end. But if
Oh
there's
yeah.
already a Mookie Tamara, like don't call yourself Mookie too. Like nah.
Oh, that's actually. Oh, okay.
Oh no.
So the reason why I call myself Mookie, that's actually funny, because the reason why I call myself Mookie is because my real name is so boring that there every time I enter a new place, like okay, so I started grade school, right? And then there was this other guy who had the same name as me but in a different class. And then I get to high school, and then there's this other guy who doesn't have the same name as me, but like his nickname was my name. So
Oh.
every time that they call him, I turn around and I'm like, yeah, so what? And then they're like, no, not you, him. And then I'm like, but that's my name. And they're like, I don't care. And then in college, I thought I finally escaped that curse. And then one of the people who became one of my closer friends in college, um, also had the exact same name. And then we were just looking at each other and we are like, yeah, no, this isn't gonna work. Let's pick different names for each other.
That's very cute though. These are fun origin stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, so our advice if you're trying to get a first job would be to be easy to find, have a good, solid online presence. For that, I suggest a link tree because then you can have everything in the same place or something similar. If you don't know what a link tree is, I'm going to send a link in a moment.
Mhm.
LinkedIn, nobody wants to be on there because it's boring. But hey,
You
it's
need
very
to.
useful. You need to be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. It's very necessary.
I'm there, and for me, like it's just like I go there every 8 months, and I see I have like 6 job offers that I miss. But you know, usually if you need a job, go there because the jobs are there. They are like
Yeah.
because people in studio that are hiring, they're not usually not artists. Sometimes it's just common people. They're just like I look for people. I'm
Yeah.
not an artist. I'm not gonna go on Twitter to look for people. I'm gonna go on LinkedIn, right? So which is good. And then online portfolio is what we're gonna talk about in a moment. And yeah, and we can make a quick talk about like reels because I think that is something we talk about often in in the industry. If you are a student or a personal learner, let's go with that, and you want to get your first job, um, your reel is you. Like, what do you want people to hire you from? Sometimes when you just start out, it's good to be versatile and show you have different skills. And to me personally, I think there's like multiple types of reel. There's a reel that I call the landing page reel. It's on your portfolio online. When people go on the website, that's what they see. Like, it's like a first overview. But if I am the Burberry or Mel and I want to apply to a job about a cleanup position, if I send them a reel about my 3D animation skills mixed with my compositing skill, mixed with my make
Oh yeah,
skills,
that's
that
gonna get confusing.
right? Yeah. Do you have any comments about that, Mookie?
I totally agree. Like so I also have the same thing where I have, because I'm a bit more limited in my skill set. I'm mostly a traditional hand drawn animator. So I do have multiple reels though.
Same.
Like I have a reel that's just full of NBA work, because that's another thing. If you have an
Oh yeah.
NBA, sometimes you might have it or you might not have permission to share it. So it's always safe to, like, if you have some work that you're not sure if you can share, you just have this reel that you share only when you're applying to jobs specifically, and only when you're talking to specific people, and
Yep.
not post online,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I also have a landing page reel that I can show anyone at any time. I don't have a website, but like if I did, that's probably going to be on my homepage, right?
But that's a good point.
Um,
Like you don't have a
yeah.
website, and I mean, I had one. It's been
Mhm.
abandoned since I got my first job. But like, you don't need a website, especially not today. So like, if you have the choice between using a pre-made site, like I don't know, like what do people use these days? Like Carbon Made, ArtStation, LinkedIn, even Instagram. Some people use Instagram as their portfolio, and that's okay. Just make sure that you have
Yeah,
a portfolio Instagram and then your Instagram, which are two different
yeah,
things.
yeah. I for the longest time I only had Twitter. Actually, I didn't have any other website to work with, just because I found it like I had a website at one point. I can't remember,
But
but
it's hard to maintain it and
it's hard
update
to
it.
maintain.
And
Yeah, and like if you have the wrong information there, or if
oh
like
yeah.
if you forget to pay for it, that,
Oh,
like
I
if you,
never paid for mine. I
yeah.
used the Wix, and I kept
Oh
Wix
yeah,
in the
that
name.
no, that's fair. Like if you have a free service provider, that's great. But like if you have to pay for it, like some people actually make that mistake where they don't know yet what they want to do, and then they pay for a website, and then they have to end up maintaining this website.
Like
And
time
yeah,
you spend maintaining your website is time you're not doing something productive with your life.
yeah, exactly.
Go make an apple pie. Yay.
Yeah,
Um
normally you only want to go straight for a website when you're sure that you want to dedicate most of your time to it, because
yeah.
it's much harder to maintain than social media, honestly.
Like I have a website, but back then social media was not that big of a thing, so you kind of needed a website. But today things have changed. And
Yeah.
it's important. And like, yes, you can have a website if you want, but what we mean is that you don't need to. And not everybody have good graphic design skill. Like making a website, excuse me, that's graphic design. That is not animation skills. And they're two
It's
completely
not.
different things. um so yeah, so you can use one of the provider and just use that as a website. So like, don't stress it.
Mm.
You don't need a
Yeah,
domain. You
yeah, you
don't.
don't. They really
and
don't.
and
Eh,
and and how do we say, like, a oh yeah, business card. I usually have a very different opinion about business cards, so we might not agree on this one, which is amazing because that's what these streams are all about. It's a discussion. I
mm,
think business cards are outdated and they're not useful.
mm.
My favorite thing, if you go to a convention, or a festival, like, places where you can network, sometimes, like, having a business card is cool. What I mean is that you shouldn't worry about not having it. Be like, oh no, I'm no one if I don't
Mhm.
have a business card. This is, but this doesn't include Japan, because in Japan you need a business card. That's different.
Yeah, in Japan, it's a
Yeah,
requirement to have
it's
a
a
business card.
requirement. Your soul is attached to it.
Yeah.
I think there's
If you don't have if you come to a meeting without a business card, they just don't do
yeah.
business with
So
you.
exclude my advice if you're in Japan. But if you're not in
Mhm.
Japan, you don't, like, a business card. It's not a mandatory thing. It's cool, but you don't need it. However, you need something. So if you don't have a
Mhm.
business card, at least have something physical with your info on it and everything, so that people can take it in picture. If you can have a QR code, people are going to scan it and boom, they are on your website. They have to see it. Or if they have
Yep.
your Instagram, they will have to be like, oh, I'll follow, instead of being like, oh, thanks for your card. I'll check them out tonight in my hotel room and proceed to never see that business card again
Yeah.
and lose it, right? So my advice would be QR code or thing that people take in picture over a business
Mhm.
card, but I might be wrong. I might be wrong.
No, yeah, that's totally fair. I found that sometimes having something that they might be able to use is also really useful. So like if you have the money for it, sometimes like for example, if you're going to Annecy specifically, it's very hot there because it's the summer. If you have the money to make like fans or something that could act
That
like
is
a
true.
fan, yeah, and then put your calling detail on that, the people love that. Like they'll take a fan over a business card,
Oh yeah, business card
and
is
they'll
too
keep
small. I don't have
yeah,
window.
and they'll keep that fan all the way until they get back home because it's very hot.
You're a
So it's
genius,
like
Mookie.
yeah, no, it's because I saw that. Like there was this one Japanese I don't know if it's a
The
studio or
production with the
project.
white dog, right?
This one's a cat. I'm
Oh.
not sure if it's the same one, but like
Oh,
yeah, like
it is a
they were
cat. I
giving
had it
out
behind
fans.
me.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, they were giving out fans. So it's like and then my friend gave it to me, and then I'm like, yeah, oh, that's cool. And it's a good way of people remembering you because it's also a conversation piece.
Of
So
course.
yeah.
Oh, that's a very good advice, though. I was about to forget. I just read it on my little note. You talk about the conversation, like networking and meeting. It's not about how many people you met. It's about
Mhm.
the connection. Like, it's a moment. Like, I can meet some people that are famous or whatever, but I won't remember them as much as someone I had a connection with. So, like, mingle with people, like, make friends and be genuine when you go to a networking event because they're so important. And it's not about finding a job. You don't want a job. You want connections with people to
Mhm.
grow in an industry you are all in. I think that's how I
Yeah.
always seen it, more than like I need
No,
friends because I need jobs.
I totally agree. I think the one mistake that a lot of people who don't know what networking actually is do is that they try to market themselves
Oh
whenever they network.
yeah,
And
yeah.
honestly, I hate that. Like, I
And we
want
all
to
do.
know. Yeah, like it's a if the topic gets brought up about what you do and stuff, like okay, yeah. But if no one's talking about it, it's not really a good idea to bring it up because that might just turn people off from it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you just want to share like oh I do this and then share a story about what you do, that's perfectly fine. But
Especially
like
in
if
a
you
convention, like if people are around like a table, maybe having coffee or a beer. I don't know. If you're
join in the
if you're in
conversation,
drinking age, people.
yeah,
You it is common in if you're in like a film festival, people will sometimes introduce themselves being like, hey, my name is Mel, I'm a 2D animator, and that's it, just
yeah,
because then it creates conversation and moments, and like,
yeah.
oh, my name is Stanley, I do 3D, oh, that's cool, and then you talk. Eh,
Yeah, but like you don't need to hard sell yourself. Like
yeah.
just saying what you're doing or like where you work or something. That's more than enough. You don't need to like flex or anything. If you're a student, you're a student. That's perfectly fine too.
Yeah.
No one judges students, especially Nancy or something like that. No one judges students.
And for a portfolio, we said that reels, you benefit from having like different types of reels. You benefit from having different types of portfolio, and for that we mean like you can have a lending portfolio where people just see your overall skills, and just as much as a lending reel, if you're more into like sequence, like animation work that moves, you need to see it move. And for a portfolio, like if you want to do character design, have a portfolio with character design, have it with turnarounds, have it with like concept art, but like know that all these
Mhm.
things are different. You cannot like, okay, people are gonna throw stone at me for that, but when you're out of school, chances are that you will not finish your school and be a concept artist at like Ubisoft or something. It's not happening. Like
Oh yeah,
you have
yeah,
to grow up and like
yeah.
climb the ladder. When you get out, like you will probably like, unless you're, and I'll be honest, there's always that one or two students in every cohort of school or like any group that they're just freaking amazing. I'm not one of those, okay, but I still made it, okay. So
Mhm.
like if you want to do concept, you can't just have a design portfolio of concept. Like this is too broad. Like try to do like, these are my prop design, these are my character designs, these are my animals, like, because people are going to be like, I need someone to do props, and they'll be like, you can do props, hired. So
That's
you
actually
know.
really good advice. I think that's actually really good advice. Like a friend of mine also did say that because they work in design work, and they did say the same thing. Like because sometimes when you say designer, you don't necessarily mean like just every single thing.
Like, is it
Because
color, is it line, is it sketch?
yeah, and like is it a prop? Is it an effect? Is it a character? Is it an environment? And they're all completely different portfolios. Like none of them share the same portfolio.
The only exception, I think, is we were talking about games earlier. Like, if you're going for a very small project, yes, they're gonna look for someone who's more generous, like that have more skills. But know that these jobs usually, while they're very good because they might accept like juniors, that they want to get new people and stuff, usually the pay will not be there. It's not that great of a pay. The working experience is amazing. And if you're in a good tiny studio and with good work environment, yeah, go for it. You're gonna learn from it. But like the money will usually not always be there. It's not gonna be consistent. It can be hard to start with this. But hey, when you're starting out, if it's this or nothing, go for it. You're gonna learn a heck ton of it. As long as it's
Mhm.
respectful. But if you're
Yeah,
trying out for a studio, like people keep forgetting that, okay, like cartoons, how many people are animating on one single cartoon?
mhm.
Like 30, 40, fire, like there's so many, right?
There's so many. Yeah,
And for design and stuff, like people are like, there's a team for props, there's a team for characters, there's a team for secondary characters even. So if you're applying for a studio for something stable, you will need to specialize a bit more, because that's what shows do. They specialize because it's a
Mhm.
teamwork. After that, you can expand and keep growing. You're not, you don't have to be stuck into the same role all your life. Or you can if that's what you like, right? I don't.
Yeah,
I love to jump around many jobs.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
That's also fair advice, I think.
yeah. Do you have any other advice for like landing a first job? Before,
Yeah,
I don't know,
I
years.
totally agree with what you said at the start. Like because I was talking to someone over the weekend about it too, and that was one thing that I ended up having to do. Is like when I already worked for like say um, a, as an outsourced animator, but like I already worked on projects like say Big Hero 6 before I went freelance, right? But like when I got my freelance gigs, I would not like let my past experience define like what kind of jobs I would get. Like even if it's not your first job, so it's like I took jobs that didn't pay as much,
Mm-hmm.
partly because it was the pandemic and I needed a job, and any work was better than no work.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like even if you think that your uh, experience and your previous pay grade is above something, unless like you're part of a union and it's a requirement that you don't take those jobs, I still say try it out because you'll be surprised what you might learn or like the connections you'll make.
And honestly, the pay is
And
not everything. Like you can
yeah,
be
the
really
pay's not
well
everything.
paid and work on something that's right, like not at all fun to work with, and you
Yeah,
hate every day of your job. And something less
or
paying will be funnier.
yeah, or you could even work on a project and not get credited for it, just because
Oh.
like that. Because depending on depending on the and that's something that a lot of people don't know is that the people that are in the credits are usually just half of the people who actually work on
Half, I
something.
would say, not even a fourth, a third.
Yeah,
No, yeah, maybe like 1/8.
yeah. It actually depends on like if the showrunner or sorry the executive allows for it, but like half the time, a lot of outsourced animators don't get credited until the final
Yo, to
episode.
this day, I have 2 credits to my name. I have
Yeah,
Wakfu and like a daisy.
no, that's wild because like I actually forgot to check if I was credited on Big Hero 6.
I don't think
Because
so, because they
I
credit the people in Cali, not anywhere else.
oh so there's this thing with Disney productions where like if you've worked on a Disney production, if you stay on and well at least from my experience, right? We wanted to stay on until the last episode because that would mean that we get credit. If we left our contract at any time back then, that means that we didn't get credited. So that's why we usually try to stay on as long as we could on a project
Interesting.
before moving. Yeah. So that's why I'm not sure if I was credited on Big Hero 6
Well, I
because we
hope you
stayed
were, because
until
you
the last
deserve it.
episode. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I hope so. Because like I have no actual proof that I worked on it aside from a poster that I got from
Okay,
from
but
working on Big Hero 6.
what I did, I'd have to print my own poster and get it signed by my crew. It's on my
uh, they,
wall now.
they sent us a few posters at the
Oh, that's
very
cute.
least, just like souvenirs. Yeah.
I printed my own.
I have this one poster somewhere in my house. I don't know where it is, but like I have one.
But that, wait, I forgot. But that was a very good point about this. But I forgot. Oh yeah, that is a okay. Don't quote me. I'm gonna tell you a secret, you guys. But that is kind of like, if you don't get credited, the good thing about it, because sometimes, like, it's not that you don't get credit. Well, sometimes it is. Like, I got forgotten in many credits, but when you do service work for a studio, let's say you work for a production and they only credit the name of your studio, that means nobody knows what the heck you did on that show, which is sad. Or is it? Because it also means you can make up whatever you want about them. I'm just saying.
I mean, you might not want to because like that might reflect when they find out that's gonna be bad for you. But like,
But
yeah, that's true. That's
yeah,
true.
I was making a joke. But now for the seriousness of this, um, the good thing is that sometimes you did something specific on a show that maybe you were not credited as because the studio, like the paperwork, wouldn't allow it to. So
Yeah.
if on a production you were doing a lot of technical help, you helped technically that production, or you were hired as a cleanup artist, but you did so much color and you did animation. Like normally you wouldn't get credited as any help you did, but you talk to your studio and you're like, talk to your studio. Just don't make lies up. That's not what I meant. What I meant is that you talk to your studio, and even if it's not the work you were hired for, you're like, hey, can I be, can I claim this on my LinkedIn resume? Like, can I say I
Mhm.
was a cleanup animator, and even though I was, can I say I did rough animation, even though I was hired mostly for keys? Like, that's the that's where I was trying to make like a bad situation into a good one. If you
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
have
yeah.
exact credits, this gives you opportunity to make them more defined, which is a good thing.
Mhm. Yeah. Like when I was working on Big Hero 6, it was mostly as an animator, but I also did so much revision work
Oh
that
yeah, same.
yeah, so it's like I did take credit for all the revision work that I did. Like I couldn't show it because I didn't have the portfolio for it, but like at the very least I could at least uh mention that hey,
Yeah,
I fixed a lot of people's stuff for shipping. So yeah.
yeah, that
And
makes total sense.
yeah, and it helped me get a lot of other roles too later on because like they saw, oh hey, you've done a lot of revision work, so that means that you know your stuff and you're probably capable of becoming a lead someday. So, yeah.
Like I know after Big Hero 6, I was also not credited. So yes, I was
Oh,
hired as an animator, but I did cleanup, color, I did compositing on that production. So and I did technical direction for some like episodes we got. So I was able to put that in my resume. And if people call my studio for reference, my studio would be like, oh yeah, sure. Mel
yeah,
saved our butts for many like 3D and like compositing scenes and stuff. So yeah, that's what we meant by
yeah.
making things up. Yeah, so
I think that's also a good thing to point out is that whenever you work on something, always try to. Well, it's not that your goal is to make friends, but it's good to try and be on everyone's good side. Just
yeah,
because, like, if you piss someone off, they won't give you that reference when you
like
need it the most.
yeah, and that's a very good advice. That's a solid advice, Mookie. And but the thing is, be careful, people. You don't want to overwork yourself either. So
Oh
yes,
yeah,
make sense and be reliable.
yeah,
And where someone in the chat says they give you one hat where you wear 20. I'd say yes, but go with three hats, maybe not 20.
and not
Like,
funny.
yeah, be useful to other departments because then it means that if you're hired as a, let's say you want to be a compositor in life, but you live in an area where there's mostly just animation. But you know animation, and you ever so happens to get hired as an animator. Pick the job, take it. It's your first job, just take it.
Yeah,
And then you'd be like, "Oh, is there like is compositing crunching? Like, can I help?" And people are like, "What? You want to help? Come, yeah." So
yeah.
that's how I got into compositing, and
It's
now I
it's
love
actually
compositing. So
it's actually very good to do that too because then you learn a lot of skills that you wouldn't have because the thing I think that a lot of people don't actually know about working like when once you've started work is that there's not a lot of chance to train once you've started working.
yep,
So getting roles like that, it actually helps you a lot because then not only do you get to train it because someone's teaching you, but also that you get the work experience. And I think that's a lot better than training because you could learn how to composite a shot or composite a scene based on a manual, but it's completely different to actually see your scene being put into a show,
of
right?
course.
It's completely different.
Oh, someone in the chat, because I'm gonna finish this with a few chat questions. Yo, time goes too fast. It's insane when you're in good company.
Yeah.
So Rob Neno, I hope I said it right. Rob Neno, yeah, that makes sense. With many studios operating overseas or in Canada, for example, do you know how receptive they are to hiring or work sponsoring animators located in the US or other country who aren't approved to work in that respective country? So for that, I will say it, and like I don't sugarcoat anything. I always go for honest answers. The reason why so many countries have location specific requirement is because of funding. So if a show gets made in Ireland or in Canada, sometimes the government will fund these shows. They're going to give money. So people are hired in that location to encourage local growth and local jobs. So if that's the case, then you will not be able to be work sponsored or hired in that for that specific job. The only way to know is to ask the studio. Be transparent. Say, I don't have a work visa. Can I still apply? Sometimes they'll tell you yes. Sometimes they'll tell you no. Or sometimes they'll tell you yes, but because of the process of getting the visa taking time, they might be like, we like your stuff, but we might hire you for a future show. Take the steps in the meantime. But that is sadly the reality. Some places ask for location because they have no choice to do so. It's not to be mean towards any other, like it's not because you come from a country they don't want to hire you. It's really just because of how the money is made in the shows. Yeah.
And even if you live in the place, there are some restrictions too. Like you might be already living in, say, Canada, but they want the requirement is to hire citizens, not just residents. So they might still decline you even if you're already in the area.
That is absolutely true. And sometimes even within Canada, like I cannot work in Vancouver because I'm not from British Columbia. I'm from another part of Canada. So yeah, because sometimes they want to encourage the local area, especially in Quebec. Like you could go for like remote location, like out there in the woods. So if you move and live there, you can have the job. But if you don't live there, yeah, right. Because sometimes you could live in a place where rent is very cheap and like food is cheap, and then get the work from that area where everything is more expensive, and then it means that people from that area cannot get the work because you took it for cheaper, right? So they want to encourage fairness in that locations. That sometimes happens as well.
No, that's true. I will say though, like if you are interested in looking for work in another country, you might want to talk to your government.
Yep.
Because like sometimes, say, I don't know, it depends on the government, but like for example, for the Philippines, I think it's the Department of Labor here in the Philippines, or the Department of Foreign Affairs, because yeah, sometimes they have sometimes your government, you don't know it, but like sometimes your government has embassies or foreign job placement offices where they basically just hear from a country that's on good terms with them, that the country needs, say, nurses or say animators or artists for this particular job, right? And then your government helps you place those things, and helps you also connect with the studios, connect with the other government to get your visas in place and stuff like that. And it makes your transfer easier if you're foreign national. So it might be worth looking at your government too.
I never would have thought about that. That's cool. But now that you mention it, I heard that about Australia and Italy as well. So like, I'm pretty sure there's, inform yourself in your own home country because you might be surprised. So it's like every country is different, but yeah, asking the division of it's work and labor, right? Division. Yeah, that's
it depends. It depends. I don't know. Like sometimes it's the Department of Foreign Affairs. Sometimes
that is true. Yeah,
Labor. So it depends. I think it depends on the country. Best to ask.
Yeah, that is a very good point. I'm so glad I did that interview with you. So much knowledge. I think we had one or two other questions that were very cool.
Yeah, let's go for it.
So many questions. But some that we cannot answer. I told you guys we cannot tell you exactly how to get somewhere. I think there was a question about like if you. Oh, but we answered it in like networking event. How do we get people to remember you? That would be, you know, just make it a connection that is worth it. Just like talk to
Mhm.
people, and if they don't remember you, they don't. But like if
Yeah.
something happens, they will. Like you don't remember everything, but
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Like chances are when you go to an event that's really big, you will remember probably only 10% of all the people you meet.
Oh
And it's the
yeah.
same way. It's the same way for other people. They'll probably only 10% of everyone you meet will probably remember you.
My
Um,
advice for that would be to try and find a group, not try to
yeah.
invade a group. But if I'm from Quebec, Canada, and I'm going to an event in California, I don't know anyone. Maybe I'll try to go if it's Lightbox, for example. Maybe I'll go on the Lightbox Discord and try to be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go alone," and I like, or any of you also from the same area, and like you can don't talk to strangers, but like if you want to hang with
Yeah.
people of similar interests, and this can help because sometimes going to an event alone can be so hard. Like people assume I'm very very like extrovert and I talk to people. No, when I go to events, I just hide. I look for the bowl of chips and I eat it. I hate gathering like that when I'm alone. If I'm one or two friends, I will be the one introducing them to everyone because if there's one or two people with me, I'm unstoppable. If I'm alone, I just bury myself and I disappear.
Yeah. That's fair. Like that's also the first thing I actually do. Is like whenever I go to an event, I always ask who else is going on Twitter or
Right?
something.
It's so
If
less intimidating.
yeah, yeah, especially if like they're mutuals, then you set up a date to say, oh, we can finally meet each other, something like that.
Okay, I know time is running, but I think that's so important because I think we just touched on something very important. Um, these finding a first job is so hard, especially if you're anxious and you have like social anxiety. And oh my god, that like it was on my list and I forgot to talk about it. But
Oh,
like
it's true. It's so
like
true.
the sad thing, and again, I don't like to sugarcoat things because it doesn't get you anywhere. If if like social event or just talking to people makes you super anxious, what I will say is social skills are what they are, skills. Some people play basketball. If they're super tall, naturally, yes, they're gonna have an easier time playing basketball. Not everybody is as tall as each other. Not everybody is as skilled socially as everyone else, but it is a skill. Someone that is not 7 foot tall can still be great at basketball. Like there's learning that goes into it. They might not be the best player ever. You might not be the best social skill person ever, but it's a skill, and you can learn it. So if it's really debilitating for you, try to find good help that can help you. Therapy is amazing to help you build your skills and your confidence, and um, like making mistakes is also part of the deal. And I will raise my hand, being like, I made so many mistakes in my life, and but you learn from those. Like there was a time I couldn't even order something on the phone because I was too stressed about it. Okay, so take small steps, and please, small. Like, don't be like, tomorrow I will talk in front of the whole United States. No, like, just
Yeah, no.
small steps. Do you have any little advice? Because I know we just mentioned, like, try to tag with friends to go to social events because then you have something reassuring around you. But, yeah.
No, I totally agree. Like my friend also has it's good to go to like a psychiatrist or like a
Mm-hmm.
psychologist too if you feel like you do have those problems because like if you do getting some medication just for an event really helps a lot and you'll be able to actually work, right? And after that you can just stop taking the medication because they're on a case-to-case basis, so if you're afraid of
Yep.
it, nothing to worry about.
In my
um,
fam, the way we see it sometimes is that if you, let's say you're going to drive on the highway and there's a lot of sun, you're going to put sunglasses. They're going to protect your eyes and help you do the thing you have to do. If social gathering makes you anxious and you need to see clearer, medication is going to help you. It's like a pair of glasses.
that's such a good analogy.
Thank
That's
you.
such a good analogy.
And sometimes, like, I need glasses to see every day. If I don't have my glasses, I run into walls and
Yeah.
I die. Some people just need help like that every day, and it's okay. If it's your glasses and they help you see clearer and you're fine with it, then you're fine with it.
Yeah.
I don't, I mean, I understand why there's such a bad vibe around taking meds just because everybody gives it a bad vibe. But like personally, I don't think there's anything bad about it. And to me,
Yeah,
it's just a pair of glasses. You
yeah.
need them.
As
Take
long as
them.
you take them responsibly
Oh
and
yeah.
with the help of a professional, like don't self-diagnose yourself, God.
Oh no, yeah, please don't.
Yeah,
That's why we said seek help, therapy from a
yeah,
professional who knows. TikTok doesn't know how you feel,
yeah,
okay?
yeah.
No, TikTok bad. I don't even have that app. It's the demon.
Because another thing that a lot of people don't know is that you could take anxiety meds, but it depends on like how your physical body
Mm-hmm.
is, and that would dictate the type of medication and the dosage that you take too. So like someone else's medication might not be for you. So even if you just know someone who has like an anti-anxiety meds, might not be a good idea to take their same medication.
Yeah. And I think to finish, because we're already 5 minutes over time, so we can do a last little minute. We have a last question that is fun to end with. What fun little challenge slash exercise do you recommend to keep your skills tip top? And for that, I will analyze it as any skills, like animation or social skills and stuff. So any little advice you have, Moki?
Yeah. So one thing uh, that I like to do and I like to make other people do as well, because I also teach animation, right? Is give them or myself an exercise where I just try to do whatever I want, and then I ask someone else it, what their impression of that piece is.
Oh, that's
Um, so
interesting.
for example, I'll just show them like a scene I did, and then I'll ask them what happened or something, or like I'll try to see if they understood like what I was trying to hide in that thing. And then depending on their answer, that I know what I need to improve on. Because if they missed what I wanted to show, that means I didn't do a good job with the specific thing I wanted to show, right? So that's something that I like doing is asking people their honest opinion about your work without letting them know what you're looking for is a good way to improve.
That is amazing. That's a very good
I hope that
advice.
makes I hope that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. And to me, my little advice would be to just do something and yeah, share it with others. Like,
Mhm.
don't expect to just share it on socials and that you're gonna have like 5,000 likes. Like, who cares? Just like find yourself a good circle, maybe on like a Discord server, like little group chat with friends, and share each other's stuff. Like anything, make a little 5 second like a 5 second
Yeah.
cycle gif, just to share
Mhm.
some like doing something. Sometimes when I get anxious about not having done animation in forever, I just do a little something,
Mhm.
and then it's just out like, oh, I want to animate like a sheep running on lava because that's cool. Like I'm just gonna do
Mhm.
this, and maybe I'm gonna learn something, maybe I'm not. But each little thing you do, you learn from. So yeah, that's my
Yeah.
little advice. And it's the same for social skills. Like do something small. If you can't go to a store to order anything, maybe go to the store with like a paper. Like when I was younger, like I said, phone. Like I couldn't talk to anyone. I was so stressed. So I would go to like a restaurant to order the food for like my family or something, like get hot dogs or whatever. I would just come with a list and give it to the person. That was my first step. And then maybe the person would be like, "Oh, I don't understand that word," and then you talk to them. It's stressful as heck, but it's at least you have a. You can't be like,
It
"I will
works.
forget." You have a paper. So
Yeah.
baby steps, you guys, baby steps.
Yeah.
And the more you wait to take these baby steps, the harder it will be. Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
was I was 8 or 7, and my parents were like, "No, you have to order. You have to do it. We know you hate it, but like, you got this." And I was like, ah.
I think that's a good point too, is knowing where you currently are.
In
Uh,
your journey.
yeah, that's a good way to start looking for what you need to improve too.
Yeah. Oh, that was so fun. Thank you for coming by, and I won't hold you up any longer.
No, thank
Thank
you
you
for
for waking
having
up
me.
so
This was
early for
fun.
us too. What time is it for you now?
It's 4 a.m.
Oh my god, go to bed.
That's fine. I prepared for this, but thank you for
Uh,
having me. This is
Thank you
super
so
fun.
much. You're amazing.
I hope I was of use to someone out there.
I think so. And thank you, chat. Your questions, your comments were really nice. I'm sorry we couldn't have time to answer all of them. Um, yeah, but have a wonderful day. And do you have any last comment, Mookie?
Yeah. Just have fun. Like animation is hard, especially if you want to get into animation. Always remember to try and have fun, because when you stop having fun, that's when the work just becomes hard to do
Yep.
and tedious, and you just don't want to do it anymore. So yeah.
All right. Goodbye, folks. Bye
Right.
bye.
Have a good day. Bye.